Thanks everyone for downloading this episode of the Nerdball Podcast. I'm your host, Lorenzo Melcher, coming to you live from my parents' basement. My dad just gave me a couple ideas, and I immediately forgot about them. That's how good those ideas were, Dad. That like the Nerdball. I think he said like the Nerdball. He wanted to go off something like Batman, so he's like the Nerdball Cave or something, but it didn't quite work. So I'm still searching for that. He did have. I thought one was good enough for me to remember, but apparently not. So here we are. As always, thank you all for downloading, liking, sharing, and subscribing to the podcast. We're all on social media, so search the Nerdball Podcast on anything that you stare at your phone on. And go to YouTube, search the Nerdball Podcast, hit the subscribe button there. I am solid at 167 subscribers, and I haven't moved in a while. So let's keep moving that. I think that's all. Check out Things I Learned. It just came out last Tuesday, where I talk about things I learned the past week. Episode 9. It comes out every Tuesday unless I don't feel like doing one. But I've been hitting it pretty regularly. So check that out. As always, thanks for always listening and enjoy the episode.
I'm Anthony Martinez, and this is the Nerdball Podcast.
This is the Nerdball Podcast with Lorenzo Melcher.
All right, Anthony, thanks for driving out here, coming on my podcast. First time in person, right?
Yes. No, we did it
at
the other studio, the gym.
Oh, you came there?
Yes.
Okay,
yes, I
all
was
right.
there once.
Man, you've been at all my places.
Yeah.
Have you been in my basement?
No, not in your basement.
Okay.
No, I've been in here and your other place, and then
right.
on Zoom.
Yeah. Okay. Zoom. I always like doing it with you with Zoom because your headset is so good.
Yeah.
I like it. I think we talked about it before, but it's so good.
Yeah.
One thing, my mom just made. She made me breakfast. Just made fresh tortillas, which is nothing better. And then I was like,
Yes.
I wonder. First of all, you have to take one when you leave. So you
Okay,
can have one.
yes.
And then I was like, does your wife cook?
No,
Mexican
I'm the cook. My wife's not Mexican, so
Okay.
I cook most of the food, and
Do you cook Mexican food?
Yes, I do, but not. It's not as authentic as as a lot of times.
Yeah.
My grandma makes like tamales a lot.
Oh,
Her and my
okay.
aunt will like make huge batches at a time and sell like hundreds of dozens at a time.
Do they do it just? I know for my grandma did too, but she only did it around Christmas time.
They do it kind of randomly.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
know when. They just kind of like every couple months, they're like, hey, we're doing orders, and then they just make a bunch at a time.
I'm gonna have to get some. You have to let me know.
I'll let you know.
I'll buy
next
some.
time,
Do they
yes.
make spicy ones and regular ones?
Yeah, they
And
do like 4 different things. I
Oh
think.
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I'm gonna have to hop on that. Did you eat a lot? Did you eat Mexican food growing up?
Yes, I did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, pretty much. I think the one that a lot of people don't like is the menudo.
Yeah.
That's.
Do
it's
you like
okay.
that?
It's okay. It's not my favorite.
Me too. I feel the same
Yeah,
way. I'll
yeah.
eat it. It's good. I don't like the hominy. A lot of times, anytime I've had it, the hominy is too crunchy, too hard for me. But the actual soup part of it is, I like that part.
Yeah,
of it.
yeah. It's funny because my mom is not Mexican, so it took her a while to like get used to it.
Okay.
And then my wife is not Mexican, and
I didn't know that. Yeah.
She does not like it
At all?
No, I think she tried it once. She's like, "Yeah, this is not for me." It's,
Tripe is a weird thing, man.
Yes.
Even as a kid, when you see it, you're like, all right, this is wavy and floppy. It looks like a beehive,
like a
you know?
honeycomb.
Yeah, it is. It is not. But yeah, and someone who growing up, I didn't eat it a lot, but when I did, I didn't mind it. But yeah, it's not my favorite. My favorite is. I mean, my mom growing up would make tortillas all the time, and we would just constantly just be taking them. She couldn't make enough.
Yes,
And there's 4 kids in the house, and my dad just constantly eating them.
Yes, I've tried making homemade tortillas before, but it just did not turn out right. I probably should do it again, and I probably can do it better now. But
Yeah.
that first time I did it, just was not good.
And then if you try something new and it's really bad,
Yeah.
then you're like, I'm just never doing that
Yep,
again.
it's not happening.
My mom was just talking about that because my daughter, she rolls them out, and she's got, at first, as a kid, they're all weird shapes and
Yes.
thicknesses, but now she's gotten really good at it, my daughter. And the problem is when my mom was making the dough, that it's all like feel. There's no measurement. There's nothing like that. So she goes, that's the hardest part. My daughter wants to learn, but there's no like, all right, well, you add 4 cups of water or whatever. It's just like, no, you put some water in, move it around, it doesn't quite feel right. Throw some more. Like I was watching
Yeah.
my mom do it, just like sprinkling in water and doing all this stuff. So it is difficult, but
Yeah.
but she's gonna get it. I need somebody. I've made rice before. That was all right, but I'm going against my mom and my grandma. Like
Yeah.
like they've been doing it for
You just can't
forever.
compete, yeah.
But it was good. I liked it. My kids ate it, which could be good and could be bad because they don't eat my mom's Mexican food. But if they eat mine, does that? I don't know. I don't know what that means.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Dude. It's like not authentic enough so they can handle it.
Yeah. So that went all right, but yeah, I don't know. I have drive to like want to make that stuff, but again, it's not as easy when my mom and my grandma don't write things down. So blame them.
Yeah. Yeah, my aunt. I've been like, I want to learn how to do tortillas for my aunt or my grandma. But yeah, it's like you kind of have to just feel it out. Like there's no recipe or anything. It's just we're gonna put this stuff together and until it's good. And I'm like, I can't.
I can't work that way.
I can do that with cooking once I've cooked it like 5 or 6 times, and then
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, yeah, this is kind of where I need it. And then, but if it's the first time, I'm like, I need exact numbers and.
They would get all their spices. I remember my grandma. Well, my mom did it too, but I remember my grandma. They would get one of those mortar and pestles, and they grind up everything. And even then, it's just they're just like, like, all right, it doesn't help future Lorenzo. When you're trying to... Right now, I don't care because I'm 8, but I
Yeah.
need to learn. Anthony, I was going to look the last time you were on, but I feel like it's been a minute.
Yeah.
What have you been nerding out about lately?
I have 2 things. I've been getting into audiobooks lately.
Yeah.
I'm trying to do
Oh,
at
I
least
thought I saw you post about that.
I'm trying to do 50 books by the end of the year.
Okay.
Which it's kind of going faster than I thought. I could probably hit that way quicker. Like I'm trying to do at least 4 a month.
I saw you post about it, and then like the next day, you're like, "All right, I finished these 6 books." I'm like, "Wait,
Yeah.
what?"
Yeah, audiobooks are nice because you don't have to actually sit down. Like I can be cooking or whatever and listen to the audiobook. So the first month I did 4, which is kind of about what I need to do to hit 50. But then this month, after like a week, I hit 6.
Oh,
And
really?
yeah. Some of them are shorter than others, and some of them I'm like excited to listen to. So yeah, in January there was a couple books that I started listening to that were just like not for me.
Are there like a particular genre that you're?
So January I did mostly like murder mystery books. This month I tried to do horror, but I just can't find scary books. At least nothing that I found when I was like Googling like horror books.
Yeah.
They're not really suspenseful enough for me. So maybe I'm just looking at the wrong ones.
I bet there's like a range of like, all right, if you're 12, read these horror
Yeah.
books, and if you're an adult, read these ones.
Yeah, and I'm also limited to. I'm using the Toledo Library app, so it has to be like available through this. And there's been a lot of books that people have recommended that I've tried, and it's like, oh, that's not even on here. So there's not. I just got to go to the next book.
Do you have an Amazon Prime account?
No.
And say they give you free books on there if you have a Prime account. Who doesn't have a Prime account nowadays?
We do. We don't spend money, so
Well, okay.
we do. Maybe every like 3 months we might order like one thing off of Amazon.
Okay.
But, yeah,
All right.
it's
That
very,
makes sense.
very rare.
Yeah. I thought you said there was 2 things.
Oh yes,
right?
and then the other thing is I'm trying to do like speed Rubik's cube solving.
Okay. Oh, wait.
I'm not trying to get like
World records?
World records. I'm trying to get under 30 seconds.
How's that been going?
It's tough.
Is it?
Yeah, there's like 2 methods. Like the beginner method, I've got that down, but because there's so many steps to it, like you can only get it to like a minute. So then there's
okay.
another method that you have to know like 100 different algorithms basically. You have to like solve the first part where you get like they call it the white cross.
Yeah. Okay.
And so then you solve that part, and then depending on where certain pieces are, you have to do a different algorithm to like get to the next part.
Okay.
And it's annoying trying to like I feel like I'm in school again, like trying to study for this.
For no reason.
Yes. Yeah, it's not for anybody. It's not gonna get me anything. I just want to learn how to do it. And
What? I was gonna say, what made you want to do that?
I don't know. I think my niece one year got me a Rubik's Cube. And I was like, oh, well, at least I have this. I should at least solve it. So then I solved it, and then I forgot how to solve it. And then I got another Rubik's Cube because my kids broke that one. And then now I know how to solve that in like the beginner way. And now I'm like, I might as well try to learn how to
be fast about it.
Yeah, do it quick.
Rubik's Cubes are, I think, first of all, I think every kid owns one because they get them as a gift, or they see it and like, hey, I want to try one of these. They're always around the house. I always looked at a Rubik's Cube and thought, that thing just sits around. Every once in a while, someone picks it up and tries to solve it, and then it gets put back down again. And then, like, maybe 10 years later, they're like, oh, we got it finally. Like, we did it. Good job, everybody. Yeah. It just seems like I don't know. I guess when you're just sitting around, watching a TV or something, just fidgeting with it. But if you're trying to like know all these algorithms, you got to be really paying attention too.
Yeah. I'm trying to spend like at least 30 minutes each day, just like remembering these algorithms. I found a website that has them all like written down, and I just have to. Not only do you have to know the algorithm, you have to know what position these two particular pieces are, and then after I learned that part, so the way you do it, you solve the white cross, and then you do this first two layers, and then you have to know after that you have to do the top part, which is like the last layer, but that's another bunch of algorithms that I haven't even began looking at yet because I'm trying to get to the first part done.
How long have you been working on this?
Maybe a week or two.
Okay, all right.
So I'm just starting this part of the journey. But
okay. What does your wife think about this?
She doesn't care.
Does she get in? Is she into audiobooks? Does she get into that?
Yes, but she's in school right now, so it's like she's kind of when she's off school, she has like 2 or 3 weeks where she can like listen to audiobooks, and then she's got to get back to schoolwork. So
is she working also?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, she working, going to school, 3 kids, pregnant. That's a lot, man.
Yes, it is. It is. So, but a lot of it is when she's doing schoolwork, I'm taking care of the kids. So it's like half the time I'm like a single dad just watching kids while she's doing schoolwork.
Studying and whatever. Yeah. How is it with 3 boys? Like, I would imagine in my brain, having all boys, it's a lot of them. I'm not gonna say fighting, but bothering each other.
Yes.
And you a lot of times just separating them. Or telling them to quit doing that.
Yes, that's mostly what it is.
Yeah.
And so I have a 7, 3, and 2. And so I feel bad because the middle child is getting like that middle child treatment from his brothers.
Hey, you don't have to tell the middle child.
Yeah.
I'm aware.
So like he wants to play with my oldest son, but half the time whatever he wants to do is not what my oldest son wants to do. So he's like trying to bother him, and he's like, no, I don't want to do this. And then my youngest son is like his number one agitator. I don't know why he does this. Half the time, my middle son is just running away from the youngest. He's like, he's chasing me. I'm like, you're bigger than him. Why do you just stop him?
Yeah. And then it's more. And then it's more trouble when he does stop him, but not in the way you would prefer.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah. That's I always think of, because I have 2 kids, but I always think of as they get older, like you hope there's some sort of payoff as far as them, like, I mean, they don't have to be like rich or whatever, but like their relationship with each other is good enough where they are protecting each other and helping each other. As we age as parents, they have each other, you hate for like, well, the youngest one never talks to the other ones at all or whatever, that's for me. I was like, all right, let's get through this bickering right now. And at some point it'll be okay. I think it's because that's how my siblings and I are,
Yeah, mine is kind of weird. So between me and my oldest sister, there's an 18-year difference.
Wow. Yeah.
So I have 2 older siblings who are like way older than me, and then I have a sister who's 3 years older than me.
Okay.
So it's kind of like they had 2, and then there's 13 years between my brother and my sister, my younger older sister.
Yeah.
And then 3 years. So it was like they were pretty much grown up, and then they had more kids.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah.
That is yeah, I even my youngest is 10, and this was a couple years ago. I was like, I can't, like, we went on vacation. Somebody was carrying a baby around. I was like, I can't imagine having a baby right now. Like, there's a point, like, with you, like,
Yeah.
all right, if we throw a baby in the mix, yeah, it's gonna there's another kid, obviously, and it's gonna be, but what is that adding to our insanity right now? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. We already have young kids, so
yeah,
it's not a.
it's already a
huge-
circus. You know, adding another clown or a lion or something into it isn't, you know, whatever. So
Yeah.
but like, I think about like having that throws everything off when you're done with that.
Yeah. You're like
stuff.
already moved on to, like, you don't have any baby clothes in the house anymore. You
Yeah.
don't have nothing.
Yeah, and then it just sets that, whatever that clock is running in your brain, and, you know, it just sets it back. Because I know for us, like, all right, well, our kids will be out of high school, and we won't even be 50 yet. So like, it's like thinking about that, and like, all right, all this stuff gets set back. Like, we were gonna be free.
Yeah.
Although my wife doesn't think about it that way. I try to tell her, like, you know, in 5 years, Mateo's gonna be done with school. In 5 years. She's like, I don't want to talk about it. So, sorry.
Yeah.
Also, one thing I saw, you've been getting into stand-up comedy a little bit here.
Yes.
Yeah,
that's
how's that been going?
It's been fun. It's fun going into it, like, with a whole new mindset. Like,
Yeah.
when I was younger doing it, I was like, all right, this is going to be my career. I'm going to do this forever. And then now I'm like, I'm going into it not trying to make it a thing. It's just like, some people like draw for like their creative outlet. This is going to be my creative outlet.
Yeah,
So
okay.
I'm not trying to become a professional stand-up comedian. I'm just doing it because
it's fun.
I think of jokes and then I want to tell people.
Yeah, that's how I always felt doing it, is like, cool, if somebody wants to pay me to do a regional show or something or whatever. I think Keith paid me one time. I made $100 to do 20 minutes. Like, this is awesome,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
But even then, like, it's just fun. Like you said, it's a good way to put it. Your creative outlet is like, yeah, I think of these things, and then it's cool to, when you do it and you make someone laugh, it's like, that person was just sitting here hoping to laugh, and I made that person laugh at
Yes,
something I
yes.
said, you know? And it's a lot of fun. And it also helps that the shows you go to, well, I mean, you know, you ran a show and you've been to open mics, like, you know, good shows and bad shows. Like, Dave does a good job.
Yes,
you
Dave
know?
has been
He's a
putting on
professional.
a lot of good shows.
Yeah.
lately, yeah.
And he just opened up a new room in Michigan, I think he said. So that's part of it too, is like, all right, I'm going to go to the show. The jokes might go well, they might not, but I know the show's going to be ran well. And
Yeah.
because I know sometimes I'd go to see an open mic. I'm like, well, I'm going to go, but you know, everything's up in the air. I've never been there, or I have been there and it's terrible, but I want to tell these jokes. you
Yeah,
know?
yeah. And then you have like hosts who will like do like 2 minutes in between each comic. It's like, there's already 15 people going up tonight. Come on.
We don't need you up 50 times. Yeah, you know, and this isn't stand-up comedy, but this happened to me. We like to do karaoke, and this one karaoke host would, and there was a line of people. Like, here's the list. He would play like 3 music videos in between people. Like,
Why?
people just want to sing. Why are we playing videos?
Yeah,
Like, just
yeah,
let
yeah.
people go.
That's great.
I'm just trying to sing Lonely Island. Let's go. Right?
I love the idea of karaoke, but I hate, like, I have a very bad singing voice, and
Yeah.
I don't want to subject anybody to that.
You just got to find your song, man.
Yeah.
I just and there's some songs that it doesn't matter how it's sung, that the crowd just likes it. And like, I always did I'm on a boat with Lonely Island. I like that one because it's just like a hype song, and
Yeah.
and you can scream and whatever. I did what Tenacious D? I think Fuck Her Gently, I think. I do that song. Oh, I love that song. That's a crowd pleaser for sure. There was one time I did it, and right before I started going, there was like 2 kids that ran across the stage. I'm like, all right, here we go. So that was cool. But we did it a lot, and then COVID came through, and it kind of stopped us a little bit. I was like, I became more aware of how gross it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, so stand-up comedy, right? You're like spitting into this mic that everyone's using, you know? So I don't know.
So during COVID, I know that there was a bunch of like open mic comedy shows. Is there any like over the or online karaoke?
Karaoke. I didn't. If there was, I didn't see it. didn't last very long after what I said it.
Yeah, this is a lot weirder. Just singing, poorly singing into this mic for a bunch of people online.
I got no pants on, sitting at my kitchen table. I can't imagine like doing comedy on Zoom.
Yeah,
like,
that seems rough.
Yeah, you're saying jokes. You can't even hear people laughing. You're just
Yeah. It's like either everybody's mics are open and you can just hear anything while you're doing it, or you can hear nothing and it's just I don't know what's worse.
No, I don't know either. One thing I wanted to talk about too is every once in a while I think about the podcast we were writing together, and I think, fuck, Anthony was way more into that, and I feel bad that we never like went to it because it was fun. Like I enjoyed doing it. It was just hard to find time. But I feel like we need to dive back into that at some point, or at least look into that.
I'm down. I'm down whenever.
I know you are. That's why I felt bad about it. I'm like, God, he this idea is. He likes it more than I do, I think, and but again, like I enjoyed it, and it was fun to talk about it, and even it was just fun laughing about like, oh, what if this guy did this thing or whatever, you know? It was cool.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for somebody to like come to me with something because I always try to reach out to people, and then like they're like, yeah, I'll do it, and then I like start it up, and then there's like less enthusiasm, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Also, did you see that We're Alive is coming back? Did you?
Yes, I seen. I was gonna message you and I completely forgot.
I listened to the recap this past week. They did a recap of last season, and it was. I like when they do that because it's been so long, and it's like, oh yeah, that happened. Oh, and that happened, and I got back into it. So I'm looking forward to that. I've been watching a lot of Walking Dead, and that's what it reminded me of. Like, oh yeah, whatever happened to that show? And it just so happened that they put that recap out.
Yeah, I'm excited. That one's one of my favorite of that like. Different like podcast stories,
audio dramas. Yeah. I thought about like going back and listening to it from the beginning because now I listen to a lot of podcasts, but I stopped listening to some of the longer ones, and now I'm very selective. And I was like, well, I have time to like go back and listen to these, but it's a lot. There's a lot of episodes and a lot of hours on that podcast.
Yeah. There's a lot of podcasts that I used to listen to that I've like. I had probably like, I want to say like 30 podcasts like subscribed at a time. And then recently I'm like, I just can't listen to all of these. So then like after I listen to one, if I'm like, I'm not excited to listen to it, I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to stop listening to this one.
Oh yeah.
There's this one that I really enjoyed depending on who their guest was. But some of their episodes are like 3 hours long.
Really?
Yeah. It's called 99 Questions.
Okay.
And he has like a set 99 questions that he asks these people. And he gets through every single question.
Oh my God.
And some people will just like, it's like a yes, they'll like do like a one word thing. But then other people will tell a story for like every single one, which depending on who it is, I'm interested in. And then other people, I'm like, I don't know who this person is. And I need to dedicate this much time to listen to this.
I think I'm looking at my podcast now. There's a lot like that where it depends on the guest. Like I listen to Smartless. If they have like, I'm not big into music, so if they have a music guest, I usually don't listen to it.
Yeah.
The ones I listen to regular are like Bill Simmons he's a sports one. Ryan Russillo, same thing. I listen to those all the time when they come out. Bad Friends. That's one of my favorite podcasts with Andrew Santino and Bobby Lee.
Oh yeah.
That's it's so ridiculous, and they say such crazy shit, and it's just a lot of fun.
I see a lot of clips of that one on TikTok.
It's really good. It's one of those like when I got into Your Mom's House, like at the beginning, I'm like, what are all these things they're saying and doing, and like because they have all these inside jokes.
Yeah.
So, but once you listen to it for a while, then you pick up on all that stuff. But I listen to that one every week. And then there's still like horror podcasts I listen to, like No Sleep podcast is really good. It's just stories. I don't know if I ever told you, but I've said it on here before. I went to see them like a live podcast at Kent State. This was probably like 10 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Andrea and I went, and Andrea had no idea what was going on. And we went there, and it was a small theater that was probably like 20% full. I had a blast.
Yeah.
Right? I had so much fun. I got to meet all the writers and the creators and autographs and pictures and all that kind of stuff. And I had a blast. But Andrea was like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, there's some podcasts that I listen to when they'll do like their live episodes. They'll put them on their feed, and then they'll start off like, "Who's never heard this podcast before?" And then there's like a couple people. I'm like, I couldn't imagine bringing somebody to a podcast that they've never watched before.
I definitely did, and it was it was mostly about like I wanted to have just a weekend, like it was a nice night or whatever. But yeah, it was. So Andrea was very hesitant when I took her to another one recently. We went to see Criminal. Phoebe Judge is the host on that one, and we saw it in Detroit. Now that the place wasn't sold out, but it was more than 20% full. And it was and she really enjoyed it. It was good. So, but I think she was a little hesitant about it. I told her, I was like, "This is gonna be way better than the first one I took you to. I promise."
Yeah, there's this one podcast I listen to called "Hello from the Magic Tavern," and the whole premise is this guy gets sucked into another world, and so he's just like living in this. It's called food. It's like everything's like magical and stuff there, and so he's just a normal guy living in this other world. And when they do live podcasts, there's so much story like into it. It's a improvised podcast, so it's a funny podcast, but there's like so many different so much story to it. Like I couldn't imagine your first time listening to it being a live show.
This is how we're going to attract new users or new listeners. I love improvised podcasts. There's some really good ones, and I think that the best part, there's one I forget the name of it right now that I think they're done or they haven't been on in a while. I think it's called Civilized, and it's about space, and they go to like different planets and stuff. And the end is the best part because they do like an outtake, and it's like their real voices, and like to hear them like mess up or whatever, make a bad joke or something. It's so improv is so fascinating because I think it's how. To me, it's difficult to do.
Yeah.
And like to have them do like this entire podcast about it, where you just got to keep going, or you're going to be there for 9 hours. You know, like we got to make this work. You know, it looks fun, but it seems hard.
Yeah.
Have you ever done anything like that before?
Improv? No.
Yeah.
I like the idea of it, but I'm very shy at times, so I think I would like have ideas of what to say and then just never say it.
I had my friend on here. I don't know if you listened to that one, Matt Killam, and he does improv, and he says those audiences are pretty forgiving because they know what it is. Like, so if you can, he even said, he goes, if you can say A, if you make A even remotely go to B, like he goes, even if you don't do it, like they're still all about it. You know? Yeah, I follow there's a lot of TikTok accounts that are improv, and it's very impressive, and but it just seems like something very difficult. Like I said, I don't know if I'd ever do it.
Yeah. Have you listened to have you watched Dropout stuff at all? That's good. It's called Dropout TV. It's a streaming service. But they have like one of their bigger shows is called Make Some Noise.
I follow that TikTok account. That is very good.
Yeah. So Dropout, they have a lot of different stuff on there, but that's really good. Make Some Noise is really funny.
Oh my gosh, all those clips. I love when they give him a phrase. And they're like, all right, now a little bit more. And then he's like, now do it like a ninja going to the bathroom or whatever, like all these things. It's so fun.
Yes.
Maybe someday. Maybe that's right along when we finish this podcast that we're. At what point were you like, I don't think he's ever coming back?
I don't know. Probably like when I message you like, hey, you want to set up this, and then it just never came to be. I'm like, all right, that's fine. I'm not gonna keep on bothering.
I'm so sorry.
It's all right.
There's just I don't know, there's just time for things, and there are things like I learned, like, you know what, when I'm sitting on the couch watching Dexter, that's probably a good time for me to be editing a podcast because sometimes that I wouldn't do the video until like I'm like, it's like 10:30 at night, and I got to put it out on Thursday. I'm like trying to finish this up. I'm like, all right, you have all these other days to do these things, and it's just trying to fit all that stuff in, you know. And I'm surprised you came on the podcast and thought you'd be really mad at me.
No, it's fine.
So what's been going on, man? You work. Everyone work's going good, and you still have the same job?
No.
So it was a GM. Didn't you?
It was a contractor job, and then my contract expired. So I'm kind of looking for stuff. Right now.
Okay, all right. How's that going?
Not fun. Not fun at all. even before the contract expired, I was like looking for stuff, and I've gotten maybe like one person, like I got like one over the phone interview, and then a lot of just nothing. It's not fun.
Yeah.
Not enjoyable.
Is there something now? What you do, is it like specific or is it broad that you
It's
can
kind
use?
of it's just IT. So
Okay.
pretty much it's pretty broad.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of jobs out there. It's just nothing, not getting anything, which is very not great.
How do you apply? How are you applying for jobs?
Just different websites.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Man.
It's rough. I would appreciate any kind of feedback or anything. Just saying we're going with somebody else. Instead, it's just a void of no replies. It got to the point where I'm like, I double checked my resume. I'm like, am I putting the right like contact information on? And I was, but I'm just like, it's so weird not getting any kind of responses at all.
Yeah. So if you could have like, I'm only saying this as me. IT seems very boring to me, but I'm not into like computers and that kind of stuff. If there's like a specific thing on like you like with IT, like is there something you really like to do or would like to do?
I don't really have like not really any of it. It can be like interesting depending on what it is you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy when you get stuck on a problem and you're like looking up like 50 like you're just looking up online like what is going on here,
Yeah.
and then seeing like this one random person like, yeah, I came across this and I had to do this oddly specific thing here, and then it works.
Yeah, that is always fun, like to break through whatever you're doing. Yeah, I would I would feel like there'd be a lot of IT jobs just because of how the world is now, and you could probably do a lot of stuff from home, I would imagine. Yeah.
Depends. Well, I think a lot of places don't like work from home for some reason. They like don't want it to be a thing. I don't know why, but
You would think if you can pay someone, I guess if someone was going to be good at their job, where does it matter if it's at home or in an office?
yeah, I don't understand the reasoning behind it. I think maybe they think you can slack off easier at home.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, I'm sure that happens, but what does it matter if you get your job done?
Yeah.
If you got 8 hours worth of work done in 6 hours, you still got the work done, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What, sell yourself right now, Anthony Martinez. What do you, because I am unfamiliar with IT, like I said.
Yeah.
Like, what do you, because it does suck that nobody's like, well, here's why we decided to go with somebody else.
Right.
Like, what do you think your strengths are with IT?
I don't. I'm
Solid start. Solid start.
I'm not good at this. That's. I can't do this. I just need to like do the work. Like if you seen me do the work, you'd be like, okay, this guy knows what he's doing. I'm not like very good at selling myself.
you know, that'd be good for like for any technological type job. Or like, all right, here's the scenario, and like they give you something or give you a computer, like solve this problem.
Yeah.
Or whatever, you know, and I think that'd be a cool thing to do because let's say the problem they gave you, they know is like either very difficult or impossible to solve.
Yeah.
But you're still looking at like, all right, how do they go about it? Like, what do they do? And who do they contact? Like all this stuff, you know. Although it'd also be one of those things where it's like they have this problem they've been trying to work on for forever, and you figured it out, and it's an actual problem, and then they're like, all right, cool, yeah, we went with somebody else though.
Yeah. Thanks for solving this, but we already hired somebody 10 days ago.
Oh my God, that'd be terrible. Yeah.
That's how a lot of things are, though. Like, they already have somebody, like, internally, but they, like, for whatever reason, have to put this job opening up, and then, like, yeah, sorry, we already knew who was going to get this position.
Yeah. That happens, I mean, it happens to a lot of jobs. I know when I hire people, we have internal candidates, but you know, if we don't have enough good internal candidates to interview, then we will put it for the outside. But for the most part, we do put it outside even if we have a good internal candidate. All right, well, it serves us best to find the best candidate.
Yeah,
and they might not be here; it might be somewhere else. You know, and if we look and we notice, like, all right, well, we interviewed 5 people and they're not good for this job, but this person's still here, then we'll do that. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, that sucks. I haven't been in a position where it's like, I haven't had a job in a while. I think the last like 15 years, I was working and then I left because I got another job, and then I left because I got another. Like, that's how I did it. So I can't think how you how you would be feeling right now.
Yeah,
not
it's
great,
rough.
but
It's
not
mostly,
to dwell on your misery.
No, it's fine. It's mostly because Amber's in school right now, and so she's been wanting to drop down to part-time. So, and then it's like now she can't, and now I'm just kind of stuck here.
Yeah. Have you applied for things outside of IT just to have a job?
I'm actually, I'm doing that now.
Yeah.
Now that it's like, okay, I don't have a job, and now we need to do something here. So
Yeah.
I'm probably going to go back to where I used to work. So
What were you doing there?
Kroger.
Oh, okay.
Working at Kroger,
Yeah. So, I mean, something's better than nothing.
Yeah.
You can always brush up on your phrase, how may I take your order? See how that...
No thanks.
That was one thing I've never wanted to do. I never wanted to be like a server.
Yeah.
You know, I worked in high school. I worked at Boston Market, which is, I guess, fast food, and I enjoyed it there. It was fun, but I think it'd be hard for me to be like going from table to table. Here's your drinks. Here's all this stuff. I have a bad memory too, so I'm sure I forget orders and that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. No, thank you. I'm not a big fan of working in customer service as is, and I couldn't imagine working that much.
What do you think do you have a job where it's like the worst job you've had?
No.
And maybe not even the job, but something that happened, like, oh, this always happened. And this is why it was terrible.
No. So the worst position I had when I was working at Kroger is I was like the head of the liquor store.
Yeah.
Which there was a lot of people who would try to steal, and like I didn't want to confront people. Like that wasn't fun. Like trying to confront people stealing.
Yeah.
And it got to the point where there was this one guy who I like couldn't catch him in time, but I knew he was stealing, and then the one day he tried to walk in and said, "You can't come in here." He's like, "Why?" I'm like, "'Cause you steal from us." He's like, "Yeah, it's true." And then he just left.
Oh, really? He didn't even put up a fight.
Yeah, that was it.
Because, you got me.
You got me. All right, I'll leave.
He didn't even steal anything that day.
And then when I stopped working in there, I seen him go in there. Like after I stopped working there, I'm like, he's gonna keep coming. It's nothing I can do about it.
New manager, Godspeed, man.
Good luck.
Damn.
But yeah, that was not fun, and it was also like disappointing seeing like the same people walk in every single day by the same thing. Yeah,
I worked at Speedway, third shift Speedway, and that was the same thing. Like we had to lock them at a certain time, right?
Yeah.
And people like waiting for them to be unlocked in the morning.
Yeah.
Which, okay, I know there's some people who get off third shift and that's like their afternoon before whatever, you know. But some of the people or people that show up right when we're locking them. I was like, sorry.
No, legally I can't do it. Sorry.
What here's a story. I don't know if I told it on this podcast or not. I was working third shift by myself. Mm-hmm. And I had a shit so bad, like really bad. And I was trying to fight through it, and I couldn't. And it was just about the time before the doors got locked.
Yeah.
For the alcohol. So I'm by myself. I go and lock the front doors, put the sign up.
Yeah.
And then go to the bathroom, and come back. And when I'm rushed, like it is it is not a good experience. Like for me, I just want to sit here, let me do my business. If I'm like trying to hurry. I probably got a hernia, like just trying to just do all this stuff. So I go out, there's people sitting, like waiting at the front door, like banging on it. So I unlock it, and they're like, I was like, sorry, it's closed. Like, I was like, I had to use the restroom. Sorry. He goes, we were here before, though. I was like, fine. So I unlocked it, let them get something, and then they were on their way. But I felt bad because they could have had their alcohol in time if I didn't have to take a shit. So.
Yeah, that's like, they opened up at like, I think they open at 10. Or maybe 9 on the weekdays and 10 on Sundays. And yeah, there would always be like 2 or 3 people just waiting for you to open up. And like, you got to be doing something better with your life, man. You can't be here every day.
I should know your first name.
Yeah, that was
and how many kids you
this
have.
one time. This guy came in. He's like an older man, and he came with his daughter. And like I knew who he was, and I like said hey to him and stuff. And he's like, yeah. Or I think his daughter said, like, yeah, he knows, like, everybody at all these liquor stores. I'm like, what? Do we not see something's going on here?
He's just good friends with all these guys.
At all the liquor stores? Doesn't even have a favorite. He just goes to all of them.
Holy shit. Yeah, that's wild. Like,
Yeah.
He knows that he's friends with everybody. He's just a good guy.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No. I enjoyed working third shift. I didn't like it's not my shift sleep wise, but it was fun. Like just people that came in there. I had friends that would come in there and just hang out with me. I had one friend who liked to buy scratchers, and he'd come in and buy one, and then I was like, "Oh, come on, you can buy another one." And before I knew it, I sold him like $100 worth of scratchers. It's like I was getting commission, but it was just fun. Like, yeah, go ahead, man, Justin, come on, you can do another one.
Come on.
You got it. You're for sure gonna win this time. I know.
You can't lose all these times in a row, right?
Number 14, you got it. Yeah, let's take it. Or there was one time cops would stop in and just chit chat. There's one time he got one of those little slushies, and he was drinking it, and we were chit chatting, and he was like, "Oh, I gotta go, I gotta call," and then I looked up, I was like, "You didn't even pay for that." He just ran out of here.
Who do I call?
No, a cop stole. Like, are you sure? Yeah, he just walked out. I was like, wait a minute. He got me. 99 cents.
Yeah. It's coming out of your pocket, Lorenzo.
I also hated people would steal gas more than you think.
Really?
Yeah.
How does that happen?
So it doesn't happen now.
Yeah.
But before, like when I worked there, people would you could pump your gas before you paid. So people would just start pumping, and then they'd come in and like, all right, I have number 6 or whatever. Right, cool, $36. Here you go. And that's what would happen. Like people, like there'd be a lot of people. You'd be working a register, and before you knew it, like fuck, number 5 just left and he didn't pay. So then we had to eat that money, and that's what I hated the most. And I can't remember like if it was just a thing we did. Like, yeah, it's okay to do that. But now you can't do that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you just can't. It confuses me that was never that was ever an option.
Yeah.
Like, of course people are going to take this. What do you mean?
They went from people pumping it for you to, you can pump it before you pay. And, and you can steal it. It's okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to steal.
People are nice.
Yeah.
It's Perrysburg. Yeah, so that happened quite a bit. But it was like I said, it was fun. It was a summer thing. I picked up smoking when I was there, so that was cool. I smoked Black and Milds. And I remember it was after high school.
Yeah.
And I remember my one of my old teachers walked by. She just the way she looked at me and said, I was like, I know it's just a job right now.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mrs. Ray. I just want to smoke my Black and Mild. Let me catch a little buzz before I go back in there and stop people from stealing gas.
Yeah. One time when I was working at Kroger, I don't know if it was one of my elementary school teachers or not, but she was talking to me, and I lied about still being in college because I thought thought it was my elementary school teacher, and I didn't want to disappoint her.
Oh my gosh! It's probably been years since you saw it.
Actually. I don't know if it was her or not, but
did you make up some ridiculous degree that you were?
I don't remember what I said. I just said I was in college. And
it's like, actually, I had my MBA. Aren't you 20? Like, well, I'm a very good student.
Yeah, I'm still working here, but yeah.
I'm undercover, actually. This is for my dissertation. I'm going to be a doctor.
Yeah.
Running into people like that, just like right away, you start reflecting on your life. Like, wait. What should I tell them is actually happening? Because right now, nothing is good. Good is happening to me.
Yeah.
Like right now, if you ran into an elementary school teacher, like, actually.
I got kids. Yeah. That's what I'm doing.
I got kids. A lot of them. Was that your plan? Always to have 4? No?
I never had like a plan. I just if I want kids, but I never had like I think 6 is like the most that I think I can handle. But I'm okay with if we just have 4. But we won't do anything to not have kids. We're not going to prevent it. But so if it happens, it happens.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's happened a lot. It's being Mexican. That's very trusting of yourself to be like, well, if it happens, it's gonna happen.
Yeah, we like track her like cycles and stuff.
Okay. man, yeah, well, I used to have this joke where I would say like, I'm so Mexican we had babies on each first try. Like we didn't have to work hard. It just happened. So that was the one I used to say that joke, and if my in-laws were in a crowd, I used to stare at them and say, "But we had sex way more than twice." Oh man, I wanted 4 kids for sure. And I knew as soon as our second one was a girl, I was like, well, that's probably that. So I like kids, man. I wanted to have more. And now that they're older, I'm like, yeah, 2's good. I can't imagine the house we have now. Like, we wouldn't be able to live there. We'd have to have a different house because we don't have enough places to put kids. I would imagine the same thing. Like, you probably got like 2 or 3 kids in one room, I would imagine.
Yeah,
I think you said,
at the moment, yes.
Place, right?
We have 4 rooms total. One of them is our room, and then the other is a office. But I'm like, when these kids are older, they're not going to want to share.
Yeah,
they're not going to want to share these rooms. So we're gonna probably eventually have to get a different house. But at the moment, we're all right.
I shared a room with my older brother and younger sister. All 3 of us were in the same room probably until he turned like 15.
Wow.
And then he moved into the basement, which wasn't finished.
Yeah.
But there was a couch and stuff down there, so he moved down there. And then I think at one point he was in the living room, like we had a bed in the living room too. But even then, like I think I was in 8th grade, and I was still. And then we had our youngest sister too. That she came, and so we had 6 people in that house, 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom. Yeah, it was, and then like I moved to Perrysburg. I'm like, everyone has their own room. I'm like, this is awesome. This is the best. It was like a whole new world, man.
Yeah.
Kids need their privacy, I think, was part of it. Like, as I learned, like, you don't know any different. I didn't know any different until I actually had privacy. I'm like, oh shit, this is wild,
Yeah. Amber, she has 5 other sisters, and they lived in the house we live in now. So that's six girls sharing 3 bedrooms.
Oh,
it's like, yeah, it's you can't do that.
No. I think just like my kids have their own. They've always had their own rooms, and like it's good for them to like be able to just be in there. Sometimes I'm like, I miss because now they're just like, all right, we'll be in our rooms, and I miss like just being in the living room, having something on in the background, playing with toys or whatever, But they're getting older, and it is what it is, And Mateo has a gaming computer now, which he really loves, and he's always screaming, and like sometimes Sometimes I got to get on him because he would like yell at the top of his lungs. And I was like, Mateo, and he knows exactly what I'm saying because I go, Mateo, sorry. That's all it is.
Yeah, I know I probably did that to my parents, so I'm sure I'm gonna have to deal with that one day.
How's that? I know you were playing games, but you kind of stopped. How's that?
I'm playing. It's all right. It's I'm playing more than I think I was at one time, but it's because I don't have a job, so I can stay up late. It won't matter.
Are you playing League of Legends still or no?
Not as much.
Okay.
It's very sad sometimes, and I just don't want to be sad when I'm playing games.
Yeah, games are supposed to be fun.
Yeah.
I can manage mad. I can be mad at a game because I lose or something. But yeah, this enjoyment.
Yeah.
What makes it like what?
Well, so it was. I play ranked, so you want to win, and there was probably like a 2 or 3 week period where I lost like 90% of my games, and it was so annoying. Just like, all right, I there's no way I'm gonna lose another game, and then I start up, and then my team just like absolutely gets destroyed, and I'm like, oh, well, I lost another one. There's no way I would lose this next one, though.
Sounds like my friend Brian Scratchers. Yeah, Fortnite came out with their new season this Friday, so I've been playing that a lot this weekend. And same thing, like first game I played, new season, top 5, cool. Then 4 games after that, I was like, didn't get past 75 out of 100. And I'm like, fuck.
Yeah,
but it's I still love that. I was talking to someone at work about it, and he was saying that it's like it's Fortnite. Like if I don't get into the season right away, I just can't do it. And I was like, that's not like for me. Like I just like it.
Yeah.
Because I'm not like diehard like an OG player. I think maybe it would be a little bit different, but I'm not like that. And I just play and it's fun and go forth.
See, when I played PUBG for a long time, I was getting so annoyed playing it because like sometimes you would maybe fight like one team, and then you'd have to like just run from one part of the map to the other, and then just get killed as you're doing that. It's like, man, what am I doing?
That's what happens when they came out with Fortnite OG, where I don't build, but it's made. The old maps were made to build, so everything's wide open.
Yeah.
And if you're not a good shot, then you're not gonna have a good time. So I don't play OG. I don't have a good time there. I just play the new one. That's well, Anthony, I appreciate you coming out here. I hope you find a job. I know that sucks, and I know you feel bad about it. Again, I don't want to dwell on it, but if I hear of anything or see anything, or if people aren't here and saying I'm assuming you want to stay around this area.
Yeah.
If there's any IT jobs out there, reach out to Anthony and hire him.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Can you imagine?
I love it.
How'd you get your job? The Nerdball Podcast.
Yeah. I would start sharing every single post you do.
Well, cool, man. Well, thanks again, and thanks for always listening because you do send me you send me things, and it's cool. It's cool to know that. I know people listen. I can see the numbers. But when people actually like reach out, I'm like, oh, this was cool, or I didn't think about it like this, or whatever. Like, so I appreciate the interaction too, and that you helped me out because I figured out. I think I told you. I figured out I'm getting pennies, but I am getting paid for these ads that you guys are listening to. So cool, man. Well, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thanks for downloading this episode of the Nerdball Podcast. If you want to reach out or be on the show, just search the Nerdball Podcast on any social media. If you want to email us, that is thenerdballpodcast@gmail.com. And of course, there's always YouTube, so you can go on there, subscribe to the Nerdball Podcast, and watch the podcast every week. As always, thanks to Real JP Multimedia, Cuttlefish Graphics, Big Daddy Graphics, and Perrysburg Junior High STEM Lab for always supporting the podcast. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.